Number 3, multiple superficial injuries on the upper limbs, lower limbs, and trunk. The post-mortem was witnessed and documented by the officers from the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, IPOA, the homicide team from DCI, the DCI forensics experts. Investigations into the matter remains ongoing under the direction of IPOA. The National Police Service remains committed to transparency, accountability, and the protection of human rights. All relevant information and support are being provided to IPOA to ensure an impartial investigation. Thank you, and I submit. Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair. I still am continuing with the additional questions that were there. Maybe it will take another, maybe 3-4 minutes. I will be through.
Okay, but because I know you have really a bit addressed, of course, the sequence, the chronology of event, starting from when the complaint was lodged, when the disease was picked up, until his death, and now, of course, the point of post-mortem report. Of course, there are other questions to include, of course, the investigation and all the other issues. If there is criminal proceeding, I know IPOA will still address the same. But from this, when you are starting, this is more or less the same thing you issued in Senate yesterday. And it's a few hours that has passed since. And that's whether there is new update, new development, new findings from, when you issued this and today, this morning, when you are coming in.
Honorable Chair and honorable members, that matter, that component of investigation is actually being undertaken by IPOA. And I did indicate that we are supporting IPOA fully to enable that it expeditiously discharges that duty. So what I know is that they have continued to record statements from many witnesses or those who are supposed to record, but I'm sure because they will be coming here later, they are going to give on
the Internal Affairs Unit come in, because there could be more suspects or more people who could have played role into the death of this innocent Kenyan, more than the 4 interdicted. And that is why we wanted even the internal units, because they're supposed to go beyond even the 4.
Chair, I would like to confirm that yesterday, by the time we left Senate, I'm aware that IPOA did confirm that they had already recorded over 27 statements by then, and additional more are still being recorded. I'm sure by now they have gone.
Affairs Unit, what have they been doing?
The Internal Affairs Unit, they're also looking into that issue. And they are still going to give us how far they have gone.
Because I'm now almost concluding that deliberate leaving them behind could be telling to something.
Chair, we did not deliberately leave them behind, but we wanted to give total support to IPOA without any interference. Yes, because now we don't want to mix issues. We want to
okay, go on, but they will still confirm the same. But we had, of course, they already even interfered with the CCTV footage and the rest, and even probably who knows.
Maybe those who are at one time or the other involved in that also interfered with the CCTV. But I know the experts are also looking at the CCTV from different angles, so that they can also be able to get the same information.
Just proceed. Of course, members will have their time, but I want to had expected something more deeper, more recent than what you have provided, because it's more or less the same you did in the Senate. Nevertheless, maybe members will let them proceed, and Because IG, you know why we are so bothered and concerned? Police custody, cells, prison, whatever, they're supposed to be the safest place, safe haven for even innocent Kenyans and, of course, suspects. But are Kenyans dying in where they're supposed to be their safest place is very unfortunate and sad. Many times we also know, of course, that our police officer could be doing a good job. But now, if the few rogue ones tarnish the service in this manner, it's something that, of course, as a parent, as a leader, and of course, as a committee that even appropriate your funds and oversee, this really makes us extremely sad. And we don't want any cover-up in any manner. We had promised Parliament and Kenyans that we are going to go so much deep into this, and if it means heads has to roll. Yeah. So members, maybe we allow them. Kapondi?
And going by this brief by the IG, I need clarification on the investigation team that traveled to Kisii. You have indicated, not by name, but just blanket, the investigation team traveled to Kisii to undertake the arrest.
Point of order, Chair. I think, Fred, let them finish.
Okay.
Yeah, so that we are able to interrogate their submission.
Go on. I think you had covered this bit, the chronology, and I think there's still some bit of question you can't cover. I don't know, either yourself or the rest of your team. The internal affairs, are they in? Or that's a different... Sorry? Almost. So that's another one. It's masked. So I can... Who is he? Maybe he can introduce himself.
Honorable Chair, honorable members, good morning. I am Matthew Kuto, the Principal Assistant to the Inspector General.
Go on.
Thank you very much, Chair and honorable members. Mr. Mohammed Amin is going to take us now through actually the questionnaire. We are looking at the questionnaire from question number 4 up to question number 9.
Got a written presentation. You can have it circulated to members. Dci, do you have a written one?
It's an additional one.
Yeah, additional or what it is.
It's an addition.
So you have it?
Yeah,
okay, fine. Quickly, Sergeant, supply to the members. You can wait for a minute. Please supply to members. Clerk. Supply. I mean, if you're ready, you can start.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, Honorable members. I will proceed and tackle a couple of issues. The first one being, what are the procedures and principles guiding arrests based on social media remarks and measures put in place to prevent police brutality. Honorable Chair, I would like to confirm from the outset that the National Police Service adheres to the Constitution and statutory provisions in conducting arrests, including those based on statements made on the social media platforms. And the guiding principles and procedures include the following. An arrest must be executed either through physical contact or the person voluntarily submitting to custody through word or through action. Where a person resists arrest or attempts to flee, police officers are permitted to use reasonable and necessary force to effect that arrest. However, the force applied must at all times be proportionate and justified under the specific circumstance or circumstances. The person being arrested must be properly informed in a language he or she understands of the reason for the arrest, their right to remain silent, and the consequences of choosing not to remain silent. In addition, arrested individuals have the following rights: to remain silent and not to self-incriminate, to communicate with an advocate of his or her choice, and any other person whose assistance is deemed necessary, not to be compelled to make confessions or admissions that may be used against him or her, to be held separately from convicted persons, and to be presented before a court of law as soon as reasonably possible, but in any case not later than 24 hours after the arrest or the next court day if outside normal court hours. To be charged or informed of the continued detention at the first court appearance, and to be considered for release on bail or bond unless compelling reasons justify the continued detention of that person. Finally, Honorable Chair, no person shall be remanded for an offense punishable only by a fine or imprisonment not exceeding 6 months. So what are the measures the National Police Service has put in place to prevent police brutality? Honorable Chair, to mitigate incidents of police brutality and excessive force, the following measures have been institutionalized. Enforcement of the 24-hour constitutional requirement to present detainees before a court with a supervisory oversight to ensure compliance. Continuous police reforms, including integration of human rights and fundamental freedoms in our police training curricula and service delivery standards. Proposal to install closed-circuit televisions, that is CCTV cameras, in all our police stations, especially at the report offices, the holding cells, and the interrogation rooms, basically now to enhance transparency and preserve evidence. Regular training and sensitization of all our officers on human rights, their legal limitations on police powers, and ethical conduct during the arrest and the detention of any suspect. Mandatory documentation in the occurrence book of any injury sustained by a suspect during or after the arrest. Not only injury, but even complaints. Where a suspect has any complaints to raise, then it would be mandatory for that complaint to be documented in the occurrence book. And ensuring that all arrests done by officers of the National Police Service are lawful, the force used is proportionate and based on sufficient grounds, including obtaining court orders where applicable. Whether the MPS has formally engaged with the family of Mr. Ojwang and the public regarding his death, the father of Albert Ojwang was informed when he visited the station requesting for cash bail. In terms of the available statistics on deaths in police custody over the last 4 months, including details of any ongoing investigations or prosecutions related to custodial deaths, Honorable Chair, in Western, we received one report which was submitted by Kakamega Central Police Station, and the matter was referred to IPOA for investigation. In Nyanza, 2 cases. Again, the 2 cases are under investigation by IPOA. Eastern, Honorable Chair, 2 cases, again under investigation both by IPOA. Coast, Honorable Chair, we reported 1, again under investigation by IPOA. Central Region, 2, again under investigation by IPOA, making a total of 7. So that is all, Honorable Chair, on the measures to prevent police brutality and as well the available statistics. With your permission, Honorable Chair, I will request Dci Masengeli to take you through the measures. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, Honorable Members. Measures put in place to ensure transparency, accountability, and public confidence in the National Police Service. Honorable Chair, the implementation of the standardized handing over and taking over protocol between outgoing and incoming officers, which includes jointly interviewing all detainees to confirm their status, address grievances, and ensure continuity of care and accountability. Enhanced collaboration with the oversight agencies such as the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, the National Police Commission on Human Rights, the KNCHR, and the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC, to monitor compliance and investigate abuse. Joint review of National Police Service systems and operations with EACC to identify and seal corruption loopholes within custody and detention processes. Strengthening of internal monitoring and data collection on custodial deaths, injuries, or abuses to inform police intervention, improve oversight. Confidential complaints and reporting mechanism at station level, including use of toll-free numbers and complaint boxes accessible to detainees and the public. Advocacy for increased budgetary allocation to improve custody facilities and expand technology based on this. Continuous engagement with the Parliament and other stakeholders to push for legal and policy reforms that enhance detainees' protection, public awareness campaigns, community policing forums, and stakeholder dialogue sessions to build public trust and promote transparency. The strategies and measures put in place or being developed to prevent occurrence of custodial deaths and safeguard the rights of detainees. Measures put in place, Honorable Chairman and members, is that regular and documented visits to holding cells by officer commanding station, that's the OCS, and duty officers to inspect detainees' conditions, verify custody records, and identify any welfare concerns. Strict enforcement of 24-hour rule on presentation of suspects before a court, as required under Article 49 of the Constitution. Designation of custody officers and duty officers responsible for the welfare and safety of detainees while in police custody. Disciplinary and criminal sanctions for misconduct of officers implicated in custodial deaths or excessive use of force. Gender-sensitive and child-friendly custody arrangements, including separate holding areas for women, men, and children, and deployment of female officers for handling cases involving women and vulnerable detainees. Regular inspection and visits of police cells to access hygiene, overcrowding, ventilation, light, and general safety conditions. Investment in and first installation of closed-circuit television, that's CCTV cameras, in key areas within police stations, including holding areas, report offices, and interrogation rooms to deter misconduct and aid in preservation of evidence. Honorable Chair, mandatory indication of physical and mental status of suspects prior to booking into cells with any sign of injury or illness noted in the occurrence book and followed up with prompt medical attention. Other measures, Honorable Chair, strengthening of internal accountability mechanism. Establishment of internal oversight units such as Internal Affairs Unit to investigate complaints against police officers. Mandatory reporting of all deaths or injuries occurring in police custody to IPOA and other oversight bodies. Routine visits and inspection of police cells and detention facilities to ensure compliance with detention standards. Capacity building and human rights training. Integration of human rights education, ethics, and use of force protocols in police training curricula. Regular sensitization workshops on the rights of the arrested persons, especially vulnerable groups such as juvenile, women, and persons with disability. Training officers on non-coercive investigation techniques and alternative to custodial detentions. Policy and legal reforms of the National Police Service Act and adherence to 6th schedule on the treatment of detained persons. Honorable Chair, lastly is the enhanced cooperation with oversight and civil society bodies, strengthening partnership with the Independent Oversight Authority, Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, and other stakeholders. Prompt cooperation with external investigations into custodial deaths and complaints of abuse. Lastly, Honorable Chair and members, engagement in public forums and awareness campaign to build trust and transparency. Honorable Chair, I submit.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair and honorable members. That is the report that we would wish to submit to this committee. Thank you.
Members, that is a submission by IG and his team. I would like to have a bit of time to take question, clarification from members. And we are going to start with Kanja. You know, he did ask some question. Then we step him down. Then Buirosa, let's have a blend, a mixed Kapundi, Buirosa. Then we go to Ngiletei and Sigei. Then we go to the other round. And kindly members, let's try to be precise and to the point.
Yeah, Chairman,
yes.
I'm going to be very precise. What in the clarification I need to get from the IG? The officers who went to effect the arrest by names. Because what you have just indicated here is a team of officers that went. What are their names? And then secondly, on arrival, you have indicated here that Chief Inspector Talam, the officer commanding station, was conducted by a mobile number and authorized the booking. So who conducted Chief Inspector Talam? And finally, on measures put in place, well as presented here, that there is mandatory indication of the physical and mental status of suspect prior to booking into cells. The late, before he was booked, was his condition confirmed that he was fit for booking or otherwise? Thank you.
Buirosa, but as Bui asked, IG, in your presentation, there's a bit of some confusion on when the suspect was picked from Homa Bay, whether it's a Friday or a Saturday, because the father's story is that to him it was picked on Friday, and you seems to be giving a different narrative. So you need to come clean on that, and even to include the OB, if you can provide from Mawengo police station. So you can note that, as you also note the rest of the members' questions. So you need to come clean on that bit. There's a missing link. So next, Buirosa. Very good. And before then, we have some members who have joined us. Maybe quickly we can allow them go on record.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning. I'm Honorable Alado George, Nairobi MP, Makadara, and the committee. Thank you.
I'm Peter Francis Masara, MP Sona West, member of this committee.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, at the onset of this very unfortunate incident, the IG had publicly and confidently told the nation that the deceased had actually taken his own life by hitting his head against the wall. I think that was discredited by the results of the audit. I would like to ask the IG, given that you came out to talk to the public to give a report that was highly discredited by the results of that autopsy, give this committee and Kenyans the reason and the confidence to believe that what you are now telling us is true and that they can believe it. My question number 2. You have clearly indicated that when Kevin Moindi was questioned, he provided a statement and disclosed 4 other individuals, Albert Ojwang being one of the 4. Albert Ojwang is now dead. Can you tell us the status of the other 3 people who were mentioned alongside Albert. Where are they? How did you handle them? What became of them? And these are Dorcas Mawio, Douglas Marigiri, and Peter Mbugwa. Give us the status of those three other people who are mentioned alongside the deceased. I want to say that the initial complainant to this case was the Deputy IG, Mr. Eliud Lagat, who obviously is in charge of the Kenya Police Service. All the names that you give being questioned are still under the said officer. Being that you are the IG, don't you think more effective interrogation or investigation to go on, it would be better if the DIG in charge of the Kenya Police Service, Mr. Eliud Lagat, either steps aside or resigns, so that the people or the officers that are being interrogated do not in any way feel intimidated, and so that the investigations that are currently being carried out can go on effectively. I thank you, Chair.
Engelche.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. I want to ask the IG. They said after Albert Ojwang was booked at the Central Police Station, Ms. Dci Amin was contacted via the number given. Who contacted him? On which number? Number two, in the early morning of 8th June 2025, it was reported by the officer manning station that Mr. Albert Ojwang was found unconscious. The name of the officer manning the station be provided, please. And again, in the standing orders of the police, when somebody is booked at the cell, would I know the other suspects who were put together with the late Albert Ojwang? How many were they? Are their names known? And the offenses that made the suspects being brought to the cell, so that we know if Albert was alone in the cell or they were other people together in the cell. The last question is, there is the interdiction of the officers commanding station, the officers who are already been interdicted, that is the OCS, the duty officer, the cell sentry on duty, and all the officers who are there on duty. Was there suspension based on already an ongoing investigation? Is there evidence that incriminates them, or they were being suspended to pave way for investigation? Thank you.
Chair, first of all, I want to say this is a weighty matter, and it's causing a lot of anxiety in the country. I wanted to ask Chair on the investigation of this matter, on what was in the X. Was it discussed? Because there are several of these issues on social media. Was it discussed as in an office that required that urgent arrest of this man in Homa Bay and brought to Nairobi? That's one question. Was it that urgent that he brought to Nairobi? Number two, you have said in your report that CCTVs are supposed to be in all these places, in the report offices, holding cells, interrogating rooms for transparency. I don't know, because the problem we have here, and it's very serious, about the death of Albert Ojwang. Can we, because for us to trace how you came from Narok to Nairobi Central Police Station, we need to have CCTV footage.
if it works in the police station, so that we know what really happened until he died, because that's the real issue which we want to know. Thank you.
So you can first respond to the main question from the 4 members. Of course, the question I did ask clarity on exact date that the deceased was picked, because it's not adding up from what the father reported. Reminding you again, your team from Internal Affairs Unit has not. Oh, they're in.
They're here.
Who is he?
Honorable Chair, honorable members, good morning. My name is Barasa, representing the Director, Internal Affairs Unit.
Why I had to take you all this time to come, and we did instruct that to accompany your boss?
I wish to apologize, Honorable Chair. I just got the notification a few minutes ago to join the group that had already assembled here.
Anyway, we give you benefit of doubt. Nevertheless, go on, IG.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair and honorable members. First of all, I want to take this opportunity and thank this committee and because these are important questions. Out of these questions, even out of these questions, they are also going to help us improve even on our standard operating procedures. So this is something that is good for us. And from here, we are all of us going to answer these questions with the clarity that is required, because as an organization, that is the National Police Service, we want to know those who committed these offenses, and we want to see them before a court of law and appropriate measures taken by a court. Because the National Police Service does not study for this. Police cells are safe custodies. They are safe custodies where those who have been found in any way to have contravened the laws are taken to await their court. They are not holding facilities where suspects lose their lives. That is the reason why we want to get to know who are these who committed this heinous crime. Now, to go straight to the question that was asked by Honorable Kapodi, the officers who went to arrest the suspects by their names, Mr. Mohammed. So these ones, we are getting the correct names. We have them, but we are going to get them straight. And also, equally, we are also going to get the names of the officer who actually contacted the OCS, because we have everything with us here.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. The names of the arresting officers are as follows: Senior Sergeant Sigei, Sergeant Kirui, PC Kenyoni, PC Rapudo, and PC Mwanzi, all of DCI headquarters serious crime unit. Honorable Chair, the suspect was arrested from Homa Bay County and straight away driven to Nairobi and booked at Central Police Station. Honorable Chair, the time of the booking was 21:32 hours. Void OB 1360706 of 2025. And after the officers delivered the suspect to Central Police Station, the assignment of the booking and capturing that information in the digital OB was done by the report office personnel. And in this case, the details of the officer who made the entry was none other than one number 86999 PC Constable Mohammed Rashid Hilo Abdullahi. And in the digital booking, Honorable Chair, is a description. And he said, now, Senior Sergeant Sigei, Sergeant Kirui, PC Kenyoni, PC Raputo, and PC Mwanzi, all of DCI headquarters serious crime, now booking a male suspect, namely Albert Omondi Ojwang, to be charged with the offense of false publication and is placed in cells by PC Mukwana, appearing normal. And that's very clear. Time 21:32. And down below, you will find this small item on parties involved. No party was involved in this entry. Means this entry was solely made by the report office personnel. Now, Honorable Chair, the statement the IG gave on the aspect of the suspect having, hitting himself on the wall. And basically, the Inspector General relied honestly on the information that he received from the station. Why am I saying that? If you go to the digital OB entry again of, this is OB 9 of 8/6/2025 at 01:35 hours. The same PC Mohammed Hilo Abdullahi again made an entry in the occurrence book. What did he say? Now, duty officer IP Nganga and the cell sentry PC Kimani have visited the cells and found, and I'm reading verbatim, more.
You have the extract of the OB, the one you are referring to.
Yes, we have.
You can supply the same to us.
Yeah. I'm just reading for purpose of the Hansard.
Okay.
And have found most of them well, apart from the last cell where he found a prisoner, namely Albert Omondi Ojwang, who was alone in his cells, making a lot of noise while kicking the cell walls. That was now the information basically relayed to the Inspector General, which informed This
From
was,
as per the OB.
as per the OB, this was 0135.
0135. Which date? That is
8th.
8th. That's the 8th, eh?
Yes. Made by the same report office personnel. PC Mohammed Hilo Abdullah. This was 0135. And then who contacted the OCS?
Before we go there,
Yeah.
that is how many hours from when was admitted? Or the last OB, when it was reported to be, everybody was well.
It's also about kicking the walls.
Yeah.
It's not knocking the wall with your head.
It's okay. Let's not just before. Don't just answer me. From the last OB, when there was recorded that everybody was well.
2132. 2132.
Then, so that is exactly how many hours? 4 hours? 4 hours. Quick calculation, members. From 232 to exactly 4 hours. 4 hours. So now the evil had happened within the span of these hours.
Yeah.
Just clarification also. Can we get the OB number that was recorded?
Number, I'd actually ask them to supply the extract of
No,
what
no,
they're reading.
for purpose
That
of
is
the
the
answer
OB.
as he was doing, because he's talking about the two PCs visiting and finding this man kicking the
same
walls
man.
at 0135 hours.
Yes.
According to what was read earlier, he was found unconscious at 0139, 4 minutes later. That's why I'm asking, what was the OB?
135.
0135,
Yeah.
and then we can also get now the OB at what?
OB number 9 of 8/6/2025.
When he was, according to what he has been supplied, where is this? When he was found unconscious, at which time was this?
139, Chair.
39. No.
Could probably read the next.
The early
the
morning,
next, the
it
next
was
OB
reported
after
that by officer manning the report desk, they found Mr. Albert unconscious at cell during routine visit. He was rushed. Because this is still 8th. Yeah, 0. That is 139.
minutes later. That's what I'm saying. Probably he can read the next OB.
Chair, can I take you back again?
I'm not carrying the entire OB with me.
Chair, briefly, can I ask a question? Let's go back, and I want to know, are we saying that the arresting officers who brought the suspect here handed over the suspect safe and healthy?
Correct.
Correct.
Let me ask you before Dci Amin. This is the same Police Constable Muhammad Rashid Hilo, who reported at some point as per the OB to be the suspect well. Later, that is at 2132. Then at 135, he was now reporting that to be kicking the wall. Then now, in the early morning, during the routine, are you getting checked? Meaning, there was nothing being suspicious or suspected. It was just normal routine. Where Mr. Albert Ojwang, in the early morning of the 8th, it was reported by the officers now, there's no name, manning the report desk at Central Police Station that they found Mr. Albert Ojwang unconscious at the cell during a routine visit. And this is now indicated morning, and it is routinal. 4 minutes as per the the sequence is like 4 minutes. Let's be honest, guys. You say you found somebody kicking the walls, then as per the OB, it's just a span of 4 minutes. Then you indicate here again during the routine, as if that by the time people are going during the routine, it's like they were not suspecting anything. Everybody was well. So just come clean on that bit. And Angelica, you had something?
Before that one, there's also the OB number 136/07/06/2025 that is indicating 21:35 hours. But from what the DIG read is 21:32, a difference of 3 minutes. For avoidance of doubt, and also, in this case, every minute counts, it is good and clear if you make a clarification whether it's 21:35 or 21:32. Thank you.
Let me,
Chair, for avoidance of confusion, or for proper reporting, especially on issues of crime, there need to be consistency. So the IG team should be, when they are using date, time, let it be consistent from the word go, that's such a time, because we want to find out at what time did Albert leave Mawego police station, because he arrived at 21:17. So we want to know at what time did he leave Mawego police station, so that we can calculate the hours between Mawego and Nairobi. Then 2, was the digital recording of the OB at Mawego and all the police stations, because that one will help us to know, because with the digital you can't interfere with. But Chairman, my concern on this, before I ask any other question, is that the IG team need to be consistent on time. Let them not report some on dates and they leave the time. Because, for example, the last bit of it, on after it was booked on OB number 090825 at 0:39 hours, unfortunately, it was declared dead upon arrival. We need the time. At what time was he confirmed dead at Mbagathi? We'll now check between 1:39 hours at the police station and Mbagathi. That will really help us. At what time exactly was he pronounced dead at Mbagathi Hospital, Chairman? Chairman, I've looked at all these things, reasons why I want the timing. The IG complained on 4th, there was no time. The OB, there is no time. A team was assembled, there is no time. This team went to Vigilant House to take statement, there is no time. The same team wrote to CAK the same day, there is no time. The same CAK responded to this team the same day, no time. Therefore, we need to know on this 4th, all these activities, if they wrote to CAK, was it electronic or was it manual? If the CAK responded to them, was it electronic or was it manual? And the timing, because that 4th, a lot of activity took place. Okay, Chair. Then, on the same 4th, the DIG went to DCIO. He recorded the statement. We need that time, and the time taken by the DCI to assemble the team. Because you can't assemble the team at the same time, and in no minute you are at the CAK, and in no minute you are... So those timing are very important.
In the report, they say that the team from DCI came to record a statement at the DIG.
Yes.
But I believe, IG, you are getting what he's saying. We need to look at that consequent time, that at what time what happened. See, that sequencing, so that we're able to tell who is telling the truth or where are the omissions, and it's very important.
And, I'm sure there's nothing hard in getting the entire extract of the digital OB, especially considering how weighty this matter is. It's not heavy, especially the few hours in between his admission and the time he was exiting the facility to go to Mbagathi Hospital. Yes.
Time to explain, Honorable Chair. because
just
not please.
just point
no, Masara.
process.
Listen, Masara.
It's a bit one, a small
Masara,
one.
listen, please.
Okay.
Unless you are adding to what you did, so that we don't lose also track.
Man,
Yeah,
I'm just adding.
We are going to lose track.
Yeah, I know, and Masara, that's what I'm
DCI
asking.
may not answer some of the questions.
I'm just adding on what I've just talked about, consistency. This particular person arrived in Nairobi Central Police Station at around 21:17. There are things which happened. The OCS was called. Somebody recorded. It took only 18 minutes. Somebody leaving the vehicle, all this. It was 21:17, but it was booked by 21:32. Yes. So those timing.
So that you don't lose track. And take your cool,
Yeah, Let me
so just respond, and I hope you have noted.
Yeah, because most of the things, fortunately, are documented, and the documents can't lie. I have said, Honorable Chair, the deceased left Mawego Police Station at 15:54 hours. He was straight driven to Central Police Station and booked at 21:35 hours. OB number 016/07/08/2025. I've said the details of the officer who made the entry, Mohammed Rashid Hilo Abdullah, of service number 86999, police constable. And he confirmed that the suspect was placed in cells by PC Mokwana while appearing normal. I think that is clear so far, Honorable Chair. It has not been indicated, but we can always get it. I'm just reading the extract from the digital OB.
So for record and for the media purposes and even for the rest, as per the record and your own submission,
Correct.
under oath,
Yes.
the deceased was presented to the Central Police Station in normal state, physically.
Yes, as per this,
Yes.
and it is very, very clear.
Okay.
While,
We picked that.
while
We picked
appearing normal.
Yes.
And we are going to
Of course, he's not a doctor, I know, but appearing normal.
Exactly.
Okay.
You can know who has been physically.
And that is when you contacted the wife to
Exactly.
confirm his arrival.
Exactly. No,
Okay.
just before that.
Yes.
About 8 minutes before that.
Okay.
So that is documented, and we can provide an extract of that. Then come to 01:35 hours of 8th now. OB9. The same PC Mohammed Rashid Hilo Abdullahi made an OB entry in the digital occurrence book, and where he stated, and I will repeat, now duty officer IP Nganga and the cell sentry PC Kimani have visited the cells and found most of them well. Apart from the last cell, there was a spelling mistake when he wrote the word apart. He wrote apeton. The last cell where he found a prisoner, namely Albert Omondi Ojwang, who was alone in his cells, making a lot of noise while kicking the cell walls. This is an extract from the digital OB. It cannot be manipulated, and it cannot be changed or altered. Now, I was looking for, Honorable Chair, a correspondence from the Mbagathi Hospital, but I should be getting it shortly. But we received a letter from Mbagathi Hospital confirming that the deceased was brought to that facility at around 2 a.m. while already dead. So I was trying to look for that document, but I should be able to avail to the committee before we end this session. On the 8th, no. It's on 8th. You see this entry was 0135? Yeah. The morning hours. So, who contacted the OCS? The OCS was contacted by Senior Sergeant Sigay of DCI headquarters. Someone might ask the Honorable Chair, why was it really necessary? Why did the Senior Sergeant Sigay contact the OCS? In the past, the station commanders have had serious issues, particularly when it comes to admitting of persons who have been physically tortured or persons who are sick or are not appearing well. So more often than not, the report office personnel and the cell center will insist before any person is admitted, they will need a concurrence from the OCS. And there's no way a report office personnel would admit somebody in custody, somebody who is physically injured or appears to have been physically injured or has evidences of torture. And it is on the basis of that and after confirming the physical condition of the prisoner that the OCS now directed the report office personnel and the cell center to make sure the prisoner was booked. And that's how PC Mohammed booked the prisoner while appearing physically. There was the question of caving, the status of caving.
You go past there.
Yes.
From your own, what you're reading,
Yeah.
is like, okay, the deceased was alone in his cell.
From what I'm reading?
Yes.
Yes.
And he was admitted well in a separate cell, alone.
From what I'm reading?
And he was found kicking walls in a cell as alone. And of course, died while, he was then, of course, taken to the hospital, now unconscious, in a room that he was alone.
As regards Kevin, who was early on arrested, investigations were conducted, the Honorable Chair, and as I explained, the file was forwarded to the DPP, who were directed that we needed to cover some outstanding areas, which we are working on. And in view of that development, the suspect was released and an appropriate entry made at Capitol Hills Police Station, and he was handed over to a person we believe was his wife by the name Evelyn Makendo, who countersigned on the remarks column of the Capitol Hills Police Station, Okarishbo. So that suspect has been procedurally released. As to the remaining others, we have not arrested them, and we don't know where they are. So,
am I in order to ask something? I said these must be the suspects that were mentioned by Kevin, and they must be among the 4, isn't it? I think it's so strange that you tell us that Albert was arrested and eventually lost his life, but the other suspects who were mentioned in the same breath with him, you're telling us you don't even know where they are, you've not even looked for them. Why was it important that Albert had to be looked for if they had committed the same crime with the people you are telling us you don't know where they are and you've not looked for them?
Honorable Chair, I think the Honorable Member is putting words into my mouth. I did not say that we did not look for them. I did say that. The first person we arrested was Kevin. We interviewed Kevin. and Kevin disclosed Albert and the rest. So the officers proceeded and arrested Albert while in Migori. The next logical course of action before this incident happened was for the officers now to go and look for the remaining. So it was being done, the investigation was being done systematically and not in a helter-skelter manner. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm sorry that I'm taking too much time on this.
Okay, but I think it responded.
Yes, no.
That of the four.
We've been mentioned as having committed the same crime. We are four of us. I would have expected that we are all brought in at the same time, but that didn't happen. Albert was brought in. So how many days has passed since Albert was brought in that the other people are still hanging out?
Just not your observation on that.
For
but
the same crime.
It's okay, Rosa. The IG, the DCI had responded to that there are four suspects. Two had been interviewed, including the one who is deceased. On the reason why, who started first, who was taken in first, just hold.
Chair, it's only Albert who was interviewed. The other one is the one who reported
kindly,
the other four.
Please.
Now I'm just making a correction.
It's okay.
Kevin is the one who mentioned the other four. So he has been acquitted. He's been released. But of the other four that were mentioned, it was only Albert who had been called and interrogated and obviously has died. Okay. The other three have not appeared yet.
I think you had made your point that you had four mentioned, including Albert, who is deceased. The one was interviewed, the rest you were to go to interview the rest. I think you made it clear. Yeah. The reason why this started first, I think we can. How many other questions pending? Is already one. Midday. The question from the rest of members, kindly, because we still have a power to come in. Respond to Sigei, Ngeleche. I'll give you. So let's exhaust the question that were earlier asked by members. And that's why I was like, I don't want them to lose the track of the questions. I think Ngeleche did ask a question.
My questions were not answered, so I hope they'll be answered. Because I asked IG, why isn't it important that the DIG should step aside to allow for effective and meaningful investigations to go on?
Well, it's okay. I'm sure they're noting. But now let's also understand that we need to give them time. Yeah. If we keep every other time, then we may lose track of the question.
In fact, Chairman.
And even the rest of members have not even asked questions. Yes, please, Buiu. So please, IG or DIG, you respond to the rest of members so that we take the last round, so that we get also a power in. I had mentioned earlier that we need to have a bit of a report to be submitted to Parliament in the noon before the budget is read. Even part of what I think.
A small and follow-up question for those ones who have not been arrested, because these are crime committed. Now, do you intend to pursue the remaining three for arrest? Because you cannot suspend because of what happened.
The DCI has clearly stated that all of them are on queue. So I believe that he is still going on and to get the rest. Then there was this question about the officers who are on duty at the Central Police Station then, and why they were interdicted. I did that to allow, and I did indicate from the word go that myself as the Inspector General and the leadership of the police, and even the entire National Police Service, we are very much interested to get to know who are these or who is this who committed this on duty. At that particular time, when the late Albert Ojwang was brought in, were interdicted to pay for the investigations. which we want to be done expeditiously, right, to get home. So they set aside, they step aside to allow for that investigation, and that is exactly what happened, because they were there when all these issues that we are discussing here happened. Thank you, Chair. There was this question of about the CCTV footage. Yes, at the Central Police Station, we have CCTV. Currently, as I did indicate, the investigations are ongoing, being carried out by the IPOA. While we were at Senate yesterday, it was mentioned that the power of one of the CCTVs had actually been plucked off. However, the experts are looking at the hard drive and to reconstruct everything. So I believe we are also going to get a lot of information. The investigators are going to get a lot of information from the CCTV. And number two, we're also going to get to know who is this that plugged the power from the power source. So all that is subject to that investigation that is currently ongoing. The question by Honorable Losabuyu on do you think DIGKBS should step aside to allow for investigations?
The urgency of sending these officers to go to Migori, Homa Bay, was it discussed before rushing to arrest? I think I asked the question.
Honorable Chair, there was actually no special urgency in terms of the investigations of this matter. Like I said, there was no preferential treatment accorded to the complainant whatsoever. This was a complaint raised. It was a complaint touching on the integrity of a person none other than the Deputy Inspector General, KPC, Kenya Police Service. So there was no special urgency where we feel that
maybe Dci, while you're on that point, was this complaint raised verbally or it was a written complaint that we should actually have before us to actually confirm for ourselves that as a Kenyan he had the right to complain, but it must be there for you to take all that action which you have tried to explain to us.
Was a written complaint, Honorable Chair, which at the end of this session we'll be glad to share with the committee. Otherwise, in our service standing orders, unlike all other cases, we always emphasize on the need to expedite our investigations. And that is part of our performance contract, that we urge our officers to make sure that all cases reported must, in as much as possible, be expedited. But like I said, we did not accord the matter of Dci Lagat any special preference. As regards what I mentioned, Honorable Chair, the letter from the medical officer in Mbagathi County Hospital, we received the letter dated 8th of June 2025. Name Albert Ojwang Omondi, gender male. The above named patient brought in by policemen from Central Police station at about 2 a.m. On examination, he was no cardiac activity. The entire body was cold, face swollen, multiple bruises, scalp cut on the parieto-occipital region, and had bruises on the limbs. The patient brought in dead, notification of death form. Field policemen advised to go to Kanja thereafter. Signed by Dr. Shah Mitali, Medical Officer, Mbagathi County Hospital. Thank you.
The letter. So members, the three questions you from LHA, it was actually one question. I actually did ask even personally also whether this patient was is total opposite to what the police reported. Saturday or Friday?
The occurrence book, Honorable Chair, where we entered the arrest of Albert Ojwang at the Mawego police station, and when he was transported from Mawego to Central Police Station, we have all the relevant occurrence book, and we shall provide the extracts. Thank you.
Chair, I think one of my questions has not been answered. I asked him if the officer manning the report office desk, the name of the officer who is said to have reported in the morning about Albert, if it was the same PC Mohammed Rashid Hilo or it was a different officer. And then another question, the reason as to why I was asking why the officers who have been suspended is because yesterday Dci Amin said that CI Talam was a suspect. So I wanted actually to know if indeed they are somewhere in the investigation and they are already having leads on who would be involved, or it was because they wanted non-interference from the officers of the station.
Chair, also on the omission.
Respond. Hold on, Masara. Straightforward, either Amin or IG. Question?
I can maybe attempt to why I said that the OCS is the principal suspect, Honorable Chair. The allegation of the deceased, Albert, banging his head on the wall came from Central Police Station, and he's the officer commanding Central Police Station. Why would an officer coin such a narrative? That's why I said, whatever utterances the OCS Talam is making, we should treat them with a pinch of salt. I've not said that he's an accused person, but we should treat him as a suspect, because why would somebody coin that allegation? Thank you.
Chair.
And of course, I think that is also in line with the act and the role and the powers of the OCS. I mean, the act put a lot of responsibility and power on the OCS in regards to suspects or any person presented to the cells.
Chair.
Is entirely responsible.
Chair.
So we are going to take the other round.
No, my question
the IG was just about to respond to my question about the DIG.
A point of order, Chair. Chair, we are stuck on
order. That's what I've been asking for.
We are stuck on 4 questions asked by 4 members, or questions asked by 4 members for all this time, and time is running out. When are we going to get chances also to inquire? And some of the questions are really opinion questions, which would rather be asked to the right people.
The IG was just about to answer my question. question before you stop.
Okay, answer on the question of Buirosa, but hold please. Yes, and then Kangara, then we take the last round, starting from our colleagues.
As not,
you talked about the sequence of time.
The fourth, at what time did the IG complain to DCI? At what time did they form the committee? At what time did they write to come and took a statement from DIG? And then at what time the report to CAK?
They have promised to supply us with a sequence recorded. I think that's what you said, if I got it right.
Honorable Chair, investigations.
And in dates or gaps, it will be up to us now to make a ruling and observation on that one. So it's not a big deal. I think that's what you said.
That's what I said, Honorable Chair. Thank you so much.
You are going to have your moment, based on what is provided, to make observation and recommendation. Any gaps, then of course we'll also have opinion. You make an opinion on the same. So before we give you Kangara, then what about respond to what Buirosa is asking?
There are two questions from Honorable Lusabuyu. Number one, the reason why the people of Kenya should believe that what we are telling this committee is about. Let me start by saying that, as I did say yesterday, the primary information that we got that early morning of Sunday is that the late Ojwang had hit his head on the walls. And based on that, the first statement was issued based on that information. And it is for that reason the DCI have stated very clearly why is it that this OCS prepares and dispatches such an information. What was his interests? So it is on this that the DCI has mentioned. And on my part, and on behalf of the National Police Service, and to the people of Kenya, yesterday I said, I'm very sorry for that initial information that was provided to the people of Kenya. I still remain sorry, and the National Police Service remains sorry for that. That is our position. Number two, this is about the DIG stepping aside to allow for investigations. Only this one. There is an ongoing investigation by IPOA. And in these investigations, every person whose name will be mentioned is to have played any role that led to the death of the late Albert Ojwang must record his statement, must show his side. And it is on that basis, I believe, if it is going to be mentioned, then definitely he will read the statements, and I believe it's on that basis that now he can be able to step aside to allow for that completion of that investigation. My submission, Honorable Chair.
Kangara's question? Did you ask a question? Okay, just before you do, I think kindly members, it's already 1:15 midday, and we still have IPOA, and I'd mentioned that we need to at least have a bit of report ready to be tabled in the House. So let's have another round, starting from the Senior Counsel, Kaluma. We go to Kangara, and our brother, who I think, did you introduce yourself even? Okelo.
Honorable Chair, honorable members, my name is Jared Okelo, Member of Parliament for Nyando constituency. I am here as a friend of the committee who asked on behalf of the Kabondo Kasipul Member of Parliament the questions that have necessitated the presence of the officers here. I thank you.
Liz Chelule.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. And sorry for coming late. I am Liz Chelule, County MP, Nakuru, and committee
Let's
member.
have a question from the three members. Kaluma, Kangara, Gerald, do you have a question? Of course. Then I think we'll be trying to, let's go to be a bit precise.
Chair, the gravity of this matter cannot be overemphasized. It's a very serious thing and overwhelming. And my prayer would be that the National Police Service takes it as grave as we do and as Kenyans do. And therefore, Chair, I wanted to request that where you mentioned to us, police officers could have handled this Kenyan in any way, let's get numbers. This is in respect of all arresting officers. Number two, Chair, which officers among the arresting officers traveled with Citizen Albert Ojwang to Nairobi? Number three, which officers handed him over to the police station for reporting, which you indicate was done by PC Mohammed Ilo Abdullahi? Which officers handed him over? It is important to us. Number four, Chair, which officers took him to Mbagathi, complete with their PC numbers? And then, Chair, there is something that has been explained, but we need more information. This gentleman, it is claimed he is found kicking, and it is attributed to self-inflicted injuries, of course now confirmed not. CCTV at Central Police Station, and there are very many of them, appear to be disabled. I'm happy investigations are going on to confirm what records could be available and who could have interfered. But what do you tell those people who say these were not mere coincidences, but clear attempts at cover-up? Lastly, Chair, who is in charge of murder investigations here? Because I see two aspects of investigations going on. One is investigations into the death of this gentleman, which will be a criminal case. And there is also investigations relating to police conduct, because it appears the gentleman died while in custody of the police, and so police could be involved. There are these two aspects. Are they both being conducted by IPOA, or there is an aspect IPOA is dealing with and an aspect the police is dealing with, and if so, to what extent? Chair, I thank you. Safe to say, Chair, that there are questions we would rather direct to entities other than these people. We want to be apprehended and to face justice in its fullest. Just as also we don't want anybody who might not have been involved to be brought in. So could you be circumspect? And in doing so, I ask my question, why is it that to date, people have not been taken to court? Because listening to you, prima facie, there are people who should be in court by now. And I'm saying this, Chair, because unlike the other house where you were for a whole day yesterday, you know the powers of this house over you. Why are you coming before us before you take people to court when from your evidence we can see people who can be presented, even just to be held before the conclusion of investigations, and people who could be interfering with evidences outside there? From the material you give us, why have you not taken people to court? And could you assure us before the end of business today, now that you appear before the House, that oversights you? And IG, you know our powers over you are not like the powers of where you were yesterday. Can you assure this committee before you leave, that by the end of business today, there will be action from which Kenyans can see that we are not treating the cases of some Kenyans in a different way from others? I thank you, Chair.
So much. IG, I think what Kaluma has raised is very crucial. And just to put it very precisely, is that already a list of suspects actually to the DCI. What holds you back from having them apprehended, presented to court, and make investigation? At least they keep interfering with the investigation, because that is what has happened to the majority of Kenyans before. Maybe you can respond to that one. It's very key. You have already a list of suspects. Why haven't you apprehended them, present them to court, and ask the courts to allow you time to finish investigation? Yeah, they keep having them freely moving around. They may keep interfering with investigation and cover-ups. Let's say this, I respond to that one. It's a very straightforward.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. You have said this is a fairly straightforward matter. It's not rocket science. I have my homicide detectives. The main function is to investigate matters relating to homicide. In this particular matter at hand, Honorable Chair, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions issued a directive directing the IPOA to investigate the matter and forward the file to his office for his further police advice. Under the circumstances, Honorable Chair, we may not conduct parallel investigations because already IPOA is investigating this matter. And as you can recall also, there was a High Court ruling giving IPOA the exclusive mandate to investigate matters relating to complaints against police. So that's why even in some of the obvious questions, we were not comfortable answering them. And if we start our own investigations, by now we'll have been very far, Honorable Chair. But let's leave it for IPOA to proceed.
Be coming immediately after you.
Then there was the aspect of the documentations as asked by Honorable Kaluma. The documentations are many, and I would request that we be given time to compile all those documentations.
Interested with that one, so that we don't miss it out. But I think you had made it a point. Kanga, then we go to Okello.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I'll also be very fast.
Chair, just a short follow-up. DCI. The question, Chair,
give him time, yes.
It was just on the same point, so there would be no point, Chair, to repeat, to come back. The question of investigation, I believe the DPP did not instruct you not to carry out the investigation. And according to the law, the National Police Service Act and the Constitution, The Constitution gives IPOA the power to initiate on its own or on direction an investigation. But at the same time, it allows even parallel investigation. And I think there are cases you can confirm which have been done on a parallel basis, especially because you have the capacity to investigate homicide. So I think that bit maybe is something that, as far as this committee is concerned, to get to the truth, it's important you use the power you have to investigate the homicide.
Thank you, Honorable, for that question. We have cases in point, Honorable Chair. Before I was appointed the DCI, I was the Director, Internal Affairs Unit. And the main mandate of the IAU is to investigate complaints against. And we will investigate cases. I remember I investigated a murder allegedly committed by police officers in Kisii. But when we were at the middle of the investigation, the DPP directed that we forward the file to IPOA to take over the investigations. So that is the kind of parallel investigations we are trying to avoid. And for this particular case, it was very clear, in as much as it is a mandate, the DPP directed IPOA to investigate the matter. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, two straight questions, Chair. One is that when Eliud Lagat reported the matter to DCI, after your investigations, you arrested one Kevin Moinde, and it is Moinde now who mentioned 4 other people. Can you tell us why you decided, out of the 4 people who were arrested by Moinde, to arrest Albert Ojwang and not the other 3? Can you also tell us to what stage Kevin Moinde was released from custody? The other one, I think probably Masara was talking about the same. This matter was reported on 4th. A team was formed on the same day. You went and got a statement from Eliud the same day. You wrote to CAK the same day. They replied the same day, and the following day you're already in Kisii to do the arrest. Yes, can you tell us why? And that's why I think Masara was asking about the timing, because the events and the following being done in the same day is definitely questionable. The last one is that from the report by the IG, OB number 09/08/06/2025 at 1:39 hours is the OB that released Albert from the police to be taken to Mbagathi at 1:39 hours. The same OB, according to DCI, is the OB that reported at 1:35 that Ojwang was kicking walls. But the same OB number, from what you have told us. I'm sure it's in the Hansard. 09/08/06/2025 at 1:35, he was kicking walls in the cells. The same OB in the report that you have given us, 09/08/06/2025, at 1:39 is what released him from the police cells. Can you get a clarification, probably, Chair? And also, because DCI was reading verbatim from the electronic OB, can you also get the OB that now released him from the police cell to be taken to Mbagathi? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Chair. I am acting on behalf of the complainant, who is the Member of Parliament representing the deceased. And it is coming at a time when, firstly, is to mention that this death has really attracted the wrath of the entire nation. Coming at a time when the IG himself, in the course of his vetting, undertook to uphold the highest integrity within the police service, And you are actually blunt enough to say that there will be no more abductions and no more wanton killings. Bwana IG, either your office or your officers have already walked back on this promise that you made to the country. Is somebody sabotaging your work, or it is the directive and part of your modus operandi within the police service? Or you are taking us back to the police force which the new constitution ran away from? And I've got a few questions. At whose behest was the murder committed? Who was going to benefit from the death of this young person? Because the evidence indicated so far is that it is the police that perhaps committed the murder, or it was done within the precincts of the police station. So who was going to benefit out of the death of such an innocent young person? The other question, because I'm acting on behalf of the complainant, we would want to know what action has been taken so far, apart from interdicting police officers who are actually out there doing whatever they can to either subvert justice or to come up with artificial barricades to prevent IPOA from conducting an impartial, comprehensive investigation. Let me not turn tribal, but we all live in this country. What is the nexus between a Mr. Sigei, a Mr. Korir, a Mr. Talam, and the name that keeps on coming up at the DIG, Mr. Talam? What do they share in common? That all these names are all involved into this issue around the death of Lagat, the DIG. So I want to know what they share in common. And the autopsy has also revealed what killed the young man, contrary to the assertion of the police that he committed suicide. If the police is as white as they would want us to believe, why lie? At the very least, when this matter came up, has the police unit visited the family to commiserate with them and to assure them of an impartial probe over this matter? Or because he's just a 20-something-year-old boy whose father does not attract any national acclaim, it can be let to pass? I want to give credit to the police for a very swift investigation they carried out when we lost our colleague. And in the next 1 day or 2 days, somebody was appearing before the court of law. On this matter, perhaps because it's just a small person, this is the 5th day without any action. The 5th day. And the suspects are known. Their names have been shared publicly. So why? Why the silence at such a critical moment? And again, the CCTV footage, we are told, was deleted, particularly on the times that are under probe. Why would the police delete CCTV footage if they have no role to play in the death? Why? Those are the questions I wanted to ask on behalf of the complainant. I think it's
very crucial questions. And lastly, because members, we have to finish so that we can allow the rest. I think you did.
Chair, mine, the one I asked was just a follow-up to what you raised, Chair.
Okay, so
give me just an opportunity to ask one question. Chair, I want to ask the question. Who authorized or gave orders for Ojwang, the late, to be moved from Homa Bay to Nairobi? it's a crucial question if we can clarify. I just want to ask.
I think it's not really, the question should have been, why move him to Nairobi? I think we have our police stations all over the country. Wasn't it enough DIG or DCI to have the suspect or Juang or any other being interrogated in Homa Bay? Wasn't it enough? I think that is...
Chair, the question I asked is who authorized? The why is also another question, but the one I've asked, Chair, is who ordered that the suspect,
sure
because Chair, a question has arisen.
I'm asking,
yes,
because you kind of presume that it must have been the interrogation and the arrest even should have been in Homa Bay, right?
I agree with you, Chair. The framing may be different. Thank you,
so,
Chair.
your point is, you made your point. Vice Chair? Those ones, we should be winding up and try to capture every member's question.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. The issue
I will not stop warning you and you won't stop me. So issue yako wewe ni Max, ndio? The betrayal. When is the situation between us going to end? That man is a criminal and that's on period. Nimetafuta mtu investigate Mark. What?
Nini ilikuwa inakuuma sana hadi unataka kutukosanisha?
You do not know Neema more than I do.
And the love. And you don't feel the same.
Only the truth can set her free. Neema, weekdays from 7:30 p.m. and an omnibus every Saturday from 4 p.m. You can also watch ahead on Viusasa.
Nivea Black and White Deal, now with 72-hour protection. But what does that mean? 3 sitters in 3 days and no fear of sweat. 120 dances with skin as smooth as the moves. Sweat, stain, and skin protection. Nivea Black and White Deal. Skin is for embracing life. Nivea is for skin.
Kelele tuzimebeba ushindi. Kelele tuzimebeba uponyaji. Kelele tuzimebeba utajiri. Piga kelele.
Ukitaka kupata wimbo wangu wa maneno kama sikiza tu kwa simu yako, bonyeza *860*288#. Kumbuka, sikiza na Citizen ni nyumbani kwa wasanii wote.
Glovo is the all-in-one delivery app made for all. Like grandkids want something tasty? Order a Glovo ututemizao na matoke au kukuchoma na extra fries. Ama umeinvite my guests na wameka kibao. Order a Glovo and keep the good vibes going with more snacks. Hata ukisahau your house keys, order a Glovo and save the day. Download the app, order food, groceries, or anything you need. Now track how did it come through. Glovo, order anything, we'll deliver in minutes.
Nairobi is growing, but to move forward, we all must play our part. Better roads, cleaner streets, reliable healthcare. It all starts with you. By paying your land rates and Unified Business Permits (UBP), you're fueling progress right here in Nairobi County. Imagine if all landowners paid their dues. We'd ease the burden and unlock a new era of service delivery for everyone. Visit your nearest county office or go to www.nairobiservices.go.ke to pay today.
The cases that the DCI was able to resolve expeditiously. Thank you.
When the other three are still... The other three
Go on. Go on. Okello's question. Try to do it under 2 minutes, then Kangara. I think Kangara was it was the issue of time again. There will be. And I think members, I did ruled that on the issue of OB and the entire sequence, we are going to be provided. It's okay, we'll extract it from the record. They're going to provide the entire record from OB, from the sequence. It will form part of our findings and observation in our report writings. So go on, please. We must be finishing this in 10 minutes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair and Honorable members. The questions from Honorable Kero. Why are we still having abductions? So when I was here for this committee, when I was being vetted, I was very, very clear in my mind that I will operate within the frameworks of the law. And let me also state this. I feel a lot of pain for losing that young man. I feel the pain the parents of that man feels, because I'm also a parent. And for that reason, we want those investigations done quickly, and those who have committed the offense to have their time is directed by the laws of this land. On abductions, every case reported to us, to the National Police Service, on missing persons, we investigate them with the same seal. The DCI, as we speak now, he has a team specifically set aside to deal with all the cases of missing cases reported to the National Police Service throughout the Republic of Kenya for whatever reason, including self-abductions. They are all investigated with the same seal. So what I'm trying to say to this honorable committee, honorable chair, the National Police Service will never at any given time allow for those abductions, and every case of reported missing person must be investigated to its logical conclusion. However long it takes, we must investigate to its logical conclusion. That is what I would like to report to this committee and the promise to the people of Kenya. There was this question on why was this particular murder committed. And number two, who is it that was going to benefit on the scene? Or simply, what was the motive? This subject matter is currently being investigated by Apple so that they can tell us why was this murder committed, or what was the motive of doing this. All of us here, the people of Kenya, including these committee members, we are all looking forward to getting those answers, and I am sure at the end of the day they are going to come out very, very, very clear.
You ask the family to commiserate with them.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair and Honorable members. That is something that we had already planned to do this afternoon. And if we could have been through this, I had my team. We have already, sent our message of condolences to the family. And I have said, all of us here, we are parents, and we feel the pains. We feel that pain that the parent is feeling. And for that reason, we'll also be together with them and condole with the family, because we are part of this society, and we feel the loss. So, thank you very much here. That is what we would like to submit.
Thank you very much, Chairman. IG, I believe you are before this committee because we oversight you. We give you resources, both to look after the police and also to make Kenya a safe place. And in this particular case, the issue of Albert Ojwang is a person who died when he was the guest of the state, which should never have happened. And what we must discourage all of those who are under you is this thing of blue code of silence. When a crime is committed, it is a crime. We cannot look the other way. Imagine Albert could have been my son or your son, or any of you uniformed officers' sons, and we would have felt the same pain, or even more. So I have just about 3 questions. The first one is, what was the instruction to the arresting officers who were sent to Homa Bay? And was there a warrant of arrest? The second question is the idea of Mr. Talam accepting over the phone for a suspect to be incarcerated in his cells. Is it normal? Or it should be in a way that he vigorously interrogates that particular suspect is both physically and mentally stable to allow him in his cells.
I think I did make a ruling on the issue of the missing gaps or the gray area on the OB and the sequence.
About OB, I asked 4 questions.
What about
and none of them was answered. They should have the questions.
Which ones?
Sorry?
Which ones?
I asked even when Kevin was released from prison, the Moinde person, did not get that kind of an answer. Huh? Right? Yes, I talked about the OB.
But I don't know. I think I said on the issue of the sequence, they will provide what they have. On what is missing, it's
Kenyans are watching, Chair. They should just be able to answer these questions. Yes.
Let me put
just a straightforward.
This is a straightforward question, Honorable Chair. Like I said, we'll be able to share with the committee all the documentations relating to the complaint filed by the DIG KPS, the OB entry relating to the arrest of Muinde, and the release of Muinde, that's escaping, the OB entry relating to the arrest of the late Albert Ojwang, all the way from Homa Bay, and the entry here, and all the other relevant documentations we are going to avail.
To the last questions.
While there, while on the question of what were the instructions given to the officers who proceeded to Homa Bay, the TOR was very clear that a complaint has been filed by a complainant, and their mandate is to investigate the complaint and take appropriate action. Those are basically the instructions given to the officers. As to whether there was a warrant of arrest, the typology of the offense that we are dealing with does not fall under that category, Honorable Chair. It is a cognizable offense. Cognizable offenses are offenses where a police officer can arrest a person without a warrant, and the police are also empowered to investigate. So it was a cognizable offense. As regards the homicide, yes, we have a very, very vibrant, robust, and efficient Directorate of Homicide within the National Police Service. And the public can attest to it for the cases. They were involved in the investigation of the late Honorable Were's matter and several other high-profile cases. Not that, Honorable Chair, we don't have the capacity. We have the capacity. We have the willpower. We are willing to investigate, even if directed today. But somehow, when it comes to deaths of prisoners in police custody, and in order to avoid conflict of interest, the ODPP has had, in its own wisdom, directed that this particular case relating to Albert Ojwang be investigated by the Independent Police Oversight Authority. And Honorable Chair, I've also cited the ruling, High Court ruling recently, stating very clearly that all cases involving complaints against police officers, even the Internal Affairs Unit, cannot investigate. And these were issues we have been discussing very, very seriously. That particular ruling, how does it place even the DCI and even the functions of the National Police Service? An order barring us from investigating complaints against police. If a police officer today commits an act of forgery, does it mean the DCI cannot investigate that case? So these are small issues I'm sure we'll be able to surmount. But like I said, we have the capacity and the capability to investigate this particular case with a lot of efficiency. But due to the reasons cited on board Chair, we will rather allow the EPOA to continue with that investigation. But we shall support them where they feel that they want any support from the Homicide Department or the DCI. We are ready and willing to support them anytime. Thank you.
Now that brings me to the very first question about the role and of the internal affair units, and I've seen them in. Maybe they can just add a voice. Have you done anything so far to this end in regards to what is under investigation?
Thank you, Honorable Chair, honorable members. Just like the DCI has said, we wish to comply with first the High Court ruling and the directive by the DPP to have IPOA investigate this matter. However, on the evolution of the unit can come in and investigate. The findings and recommendations are usually.
My work is easy because I use ClickUp. Here's how I keep track of all my tasks. I start by brain dumping everything I need to get done in a list view. Next, I set a priority and a due date to keep things on track. I create custom statuses to organize my progress exactly how I want it. I like to add the action items field so AI can show me the next steps. I add my teammates as watchers so they're in the loop. ClickUp makes work easy, from personal projects to running a multi-billion-dollar company. Click the link below to create your workspace for free.
And we have to write a report. So members, kindly, I think we have gathered enough, at least to guide us. So just finish.
Chair.
Members, please.
Question, Chair. What you've asked about the Internal Affairs Unit and now the court order, does that mean now the Internal Affairs Unit should be disbanded because they can't do anything?
Please, members, your last response and remarks, so that I guide on what we are going to do.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, honorable members. As the DCI has said, we have got the willpower, the capacity, and what it takes to investigate all criminal cases. However, on this one, there is that direction because highly suspected that police might have committed that offense. Then the IPOA to
investigate the suspects and the victims.
Yes. Then on the Central Police Station issue, why is it that Central Police Station is, in terms of command and control, is the Chief Inspector? Now, Honorable Chair, in our stations, if you look at the command and control hierarchy, police stations are managed by chief inspectors. But on top of them, we have got the supervisors who are the sub-county police commanders, the OCPD. And in the case of Central Police Station, the OCPD and the OCS, that is the station and the divisional commander's office, they are housed in the same unit. Then on top of that, we have the county commander, county police commander within a county. However, in Nairobi, we do have a regional commander taking care of the entire Nairobi because of its peculiarities. So meaning, the OCS must do what belongs to the OCS because it is in black and white and it is well guided. If he has any problem, he will consult his superior, who is in this case, the divisional commander. And so forth and so forth. If there are major issues, the regional police commander is also there to be consulted. And if the regional police commander has issues, he can now consult the entire hierarchy. So that is how it is, and the OCS has actually been doing its work as required. Yes.
Wind up.
Honorable Chair. The question raised as to the processing of the scene, the power regulations allow the officer commanding police station to secure the scene. before they come and take over. As regards the instructions, I want to make this very clear, Honorable Chair, that the officer commanding police station, the central police station, was not giving any instructions from any quarters. He was only notified as a matter of procedure, but not given any instructions to accept a prisoner. Thank you.
Thank you so much, IG and DCI. Members,
Chair, when do they intend to arrest the other people who were mentioned with Albert?
So we have to bring this to a close, and so that we have IPOA come in. So I want to guide us as follows. And one, you provide all the documents that you've been making reference to, or of course reading, to include, and not limited to the digital OB, the report from Mbagathi Hospital. Yeah. And you're whispering. So I've said the OB digital, the one actually we have been making a lot of reference to, the Mbagathi Hospital report, the doctor's report regarding the death of the late the Albert, and in the issue, of course, also the report. There is the one you had already provided earlier. I'm giving blow by blow on the sequence of events until the victim was brought to the cells. We need to provide that, and of course, in case of any further information that we may require from you, you should be ready to provide as soon as possible. And I think that is what we can also go and you had promised Kenyans and promised us that you're going to cooperate with the IPOA. And IG, I should make this one very clear. I mean, I think Kenyans have spoken. Our constitution is very clear. And even the president, on several occasions, including even yesterday, made it very clear that the issue of extrajudicial killing is not anything that we are going to condone in any way. And this should be very clear and loud. And under our watch, we are not going to allow it to happen. And you took an oath. It's this committee that did interview. And we are so categorical and very specific on this issue. We have the law, a supreme law of the land. And it's very clear on the procedures of any suspect on how they should be handled. So, and we are a country that is governed by laws. So we are going to release you. Our team is going to conduct you in case of any clarification that we need. So thank you so much. Maybe you can say a word and we allow you to leave. But hand over the reports, all the files. Yes.
Thank you very much, Chair, Honorable Chair, and honorable members. Let me take this opportunity to, first of all, congratulate the committee for actually assembling so that we can be able to tell the Kenyans about this issue. Number two, as I've said there before, I'm looking forward to the conclusion by getting those who did commit the heinous of murder against one of but Ojwang. And number three, enable this committee also number share.
Thank you so much. You are free to leave. And Sergeant, you prepare the report to come in.
Cheki, hiyo pilipili sikopa kwa roundabout kwa karibu tu. Wewe, buda, nakwambia form itajipa leo. Nilikuwa nakwambiaje? Story ya HR lazima tushughulikie pesa leo.
Usikie HR sio shida. Shida ni accountant.
Cheki hii ndio form. Hii ndio agent. Itabidi tumetanguka sasa hivi. Oya waiter.
Everything else can wait, but the KRA tax amnesty cannot, because it's a once-in-a-lifetime chance to pay all outstanding principal debts for periods up to December 31st, 2023. Log on to iTax today. Deadline is 30th June 2025.
Ready to change lives and shape the future of healthcare? Join Thika Institute of Business Studies and step into the world of real impact. Be the heartbeat of theatre with perioperative theatre technology. Lead healthcare innovation with health records and IT. Support, care and heal with health services support. Handle emergencies with skills in orthopedic trauma medicine. Empower communities with community health. Drive change with social work community development. Your future in healthcare starts here at Thika Institute of Business Studies. Apply now. Tibbs College, the highway to future success.
From the creators of Lisa's Platinum,
Unatazama Sound Kanti Talk Live. Sound Kanti Talk Live.
And I really appreciate for being with you and having moment discussion, having a day with you, and